If you're not involved in your community, it's time to step up. Find out how on this morning's Carolina People. Coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Wheelwright Auditorium on the campus of Coastal Carolina University. We're focused on a community volunteer network, Step Up, and we're visiting with its executive director, Valerie Hensley. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
What about this Wheelwright Auditorium? This place is amazing.
It's a beautiful facility, is it not?
It is. We've had a great week kicked off on Monday with Dr. John Stamey, Computer Science Department here, and yesterday had the Dean of the Wall College of Business Administration, Henry Lowenstein. Later in the week we'll have Eddie Dyer with us on Friday, and the Honorable Crane Woods tomorrow. So it's great to get you in. Obviously the gal to break up these four guys.
I feel honored. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great. Step Up's got a lot going on right now, Valerie.
We sure do, Greg. Step Up is a fairly new organization in the community, and we're serving Horry County for the first 3 years of our startup program. But Step Up is unique in that we are a volunteer center. And many people ask, what does that mean exactly?
Right. Yeah.
A volunteer center is sort of that clearinghouse or that one-stop shop, if you will, for volunteers. So instead of all of our individual nonprofits having to spend many, many resources, time, financial, and energy recruiting volunteers, Step Up's doing that for them. So we have that one message in the community, assisting and recruiting and training volunteers, and then making all those great referrals to those nonprofits who really couldn't survive without that volunteer support.
That's tremendous. You mean you're dealing with how many nonprofits, let's say, in the area? And you say just Horry County, not Georgetown, not Columbus, not Brunswick, none of our PD viewers, but
not
just
yet.
Horry, right? Good, yeah.
No, we have plans to move into the surrounding counties and communities, but our focus at the moment is Horry County.
Good.
And we have over 110 nonprofit organizations currently on board as partners.
110?
Yeah.
Are there that many in Horry County?
There are. There are actually 226 nonprofits just in Horry County.
Son of a gun. So assumably over time you'll find some way to break into all of them.
Absolutely. It's just timing. We're brand new, and we're working our way into meeting each and every one of the nonprofits and offering services.
How are y'all funded, Valerie? I can't even imagine trying to kick off something. What prompted Step Up to kick off?
It's a great story that I'll try to summarize because it is sort of a lengthy one, but some research was done in our community, specifically with the executive directors of nonprofits, the grassroots efforts, even the national nonprofits that are here in our community. And that research basically summarized the need of volunteer recruitment, volunteer training, and retention, assistance with keeping our volunteers. And so with all of those statistical findings and wonderful summaries, the Knight Foundation was gracious enough to really hand over $750,000
oh, come on.
to start this project in our community.
That's tremendous.
So
what a big commitment. Have they ever done anything like this before?
No. Step Up is the first of its kind with this type of a program through the Knight Foundation, of course.
Right, sure, yeah.
We are not reinventing the wheel here. There are tremendous, wonderful volunteer centers all across the nation that have been in existence for hundreds of years. So we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're certainly tweaking that wheel, or what do you say, greasing the wheel, to make it fit to our community and the uniqueness of our industry.
Well, a very exciting. How did you find out about it? I mean, obviously, and you were their first executive director. You helped kick off the organization, Valerie.
Yes, the first executive director, and of course I hired staff and getting programs going and generating different avenues to do different unique opportunities for volunteers in the community. I got started, little birds sort of whispered in my ear that the opportunity was available, and I took them up on it and applied for the position.
That's fantastic. If a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, what's the best numbers? Is there a phone number to call, or do you all have a website for viewers to visit, Valerie?
Absolutely, both. The phone number is 349-6488.
Great.
And our website is www.stepup-grandstrand.org.
Okay, www.stepup-grandstrand.org and 843-349-6488. And you said, again, it's just exclusive to Horry County. For some of our viewers in adjacent counties, they can still come in and volunteer for Horry County nonprofits, and obviously Step Up will be involved in helping to train them.
We sure will. We'd love to have them.
That is wonderful, Valerie. You've got some tremendous programs that have kicked off. And when did it actually launch here?
August of 2005, we actually physically opened the doors.
Okay.
I spent some time with just me, just one staff person, doing some individual researches, with the other volunteer centers that are so fantastic in other communities, making sure that, we were ready to open those doors to the public. And so about 10 months later, I hired staff, brought them on board, and are ready to go with our business plan and our great ideas.
That is wonderful, Valerie. And of course, a lot of focus right now on when nonprofits, do they approach you or do you approach them about helping to train their volunteers? Just break down the method there, the system there for viewers who may be interested in how it's orchestrated.
It actually works both ways, I guess. Nonprofits call for our services, and we also go and try to recruit nonprofits to join our partnerships. It's free of charge for nonprofit organizations.
Really? Right.
That's one thing that
Why wouldn't they be involved?
That's one thing we really felt that the nonprofits are really going to need, at least in the beginning stages, is that one-on-one personal assistance that we give to them to make sure that, okay, let's say you need 25 volunteers next week at your organization to do a food can drive, for example. Right. Well, we want to make sure that you're really prepared and ready physically in your space for 25 volunteers before they show up, that you have supervision guidelines, policies and procedures, risk management, things that businesses do daily and sometimes forget the importance of because it's routine.
Right.
Many of our nonprofits don't understand the importance of volunteer policy, for example. So that's part of Step Up services. We sit down with those nonprofits. We do individual trainings. We do group workshops. We have those resources and tools on hand to share with them. How do you write a policy for volunteers? Do you think about travel insurance for volunteers? Do you need liability insurance if volunteers are under your roof?
Probably a lot of nonprofits even hate to hear about all those things. It's just more things, but it's critical. They really need to have it. Yeah.
We want to make sure that our nonprofits are safe, that volunteers are safe when they walk through the door, and that everyone is working cohesively under one plan.
Absolutely.
And there's lots of other, areas where we try to be the experts and bring in those tools, not just with the scary information of liability insurance, for example, but just other avenues as well. And so nonprofits are calling on us, we're calling on them and offering our services and our training. The flip side of that is we're also recruiting, spreading the word, as we're doing here this morning, about our services for volunteers, looking for those individuals, those families, those groups. Even businesses are trying to get more involved with volunteer work. So we're there to help connect that opportunity in our community.
So many organizations have something to highlight the Volunteer of the Year. I saw the Sun News is doing something now. Obviously, the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce gives out their annual Volunteer of the Year award. I think tons of groups locally recognize volunteers. So clearly the mission is there. I mean, they recognize the importance of highlighting volunteers, but finding volunteers can oftentimes be a difficult thing. And Step Up here is here to fill that gap.
We are trying our best to fill that gap, and we're finding great success stories. We're connecting volunteers that maybe have just moved to the area, are not familiar with our nonprofits in Horry County, are not familiar with the services that they provide, and not really sure how to connect. Just recently met a retired gentleman. He called and said, I just saw the commercial and I am so sick. I love the beach, but I'm so sick of walking up and down that beach every day. Give me something to do.
Oh, good.
Perfect opportunity to put his skills. He has an MBA. He's served on boards all his life. Perfect opportunity to put this gentleman's skills to great use. He's volunteering 3 days a week, an hour a time.
For an area nonprofit.
For an area nonprofit. And is getting ready to start serving on one of our board of directors. So it's an exciting way to connect maybe a newcomer, maybe a snowbird who's only going to be here a few months, to give back to the community that they're living in.
That's a great success story, Valerie. You know, as we think about other ones, examples of, now, some of the training you're doing for the volunteers, is it specific to the nonprofit group, or is it just a generic training of what to do?
It's pretty general at the moment. However, we would offer services for specific if needed. But at the moment, it's a general training. We want to make sure the volunteer understands their rights. Volunteers have rights just like any other. If you were going to be employed in a business, you have, of course, staff rights or employee rights and privileges. Volunteers do as well. So we want to make sure that volunteer understands those rights. We want to make sure that they understand the commitment that they're giving to that nonprofit and what it means to that nonprofit to have their hour of service, for example. We want to make sure they understand confidentiality laws. We want to make sure they understand policies and procedures for volunteers. And to also have a place to voice concerns if there are concerns, or just to praise a nonprofit organization, and therefore we can share that great practices with someone else. So we're learning from each other, we're sharing best practices, and I think volunteers are truly enjoying themselves, giving back in so many avenues, in so many ways right here in our community.
Wonderful, Valerie. You know, as we think about it, of course, $750,000 can do a lot to kick off an organization. You're a little more than 2 years in. Does Step Up ever have needs for other funds, or do you all raise money, or do you just help train volunteers?
Oh, you asked a great question. We are always going to be in need of funding, especially from this community. And part of the grant requirements is that we secure community backing. We have to sustain these programs. This was a wonderful gift, a great way to start a needed program in our community, but the community's going to need to rally around this program to keep the doors open. Absolutely.
You all are currently housed here at Coastal Carolina University.
We are. Coastal has been very gracious in offering free office space to this new program, which is pretty incredible for so many reasons. We've got this great campus with great resources, and so we are blessed. But in time, we're probably going to need to find our own office space as this campus grows and grows and grows.
Absolutely. Amazing to think about the building on building on building on a limited amount of space. There's just so much you can do, like many universities are faced with. You all have 3 big programs we saw at grandstrand-stepup.org, or stepup-grandstrand.org, excuse me, stepup-grandstrand.org online. I think the board link, the Family Cares program, and the 50+. Break those down for viewers who haven't yet been to the website but may go later on today.
Sure. Let's start with the 50+ program. We're finding so many wonderful individuals and partners through the 50+ program. And basically what that means is it's an opportunity to meet individuals in the age bracket of 50 and beyond. We are hoping to be able to connect this great community, if you will, that are either newcomers, snowbirds, retirees, those baby boomers, to service projects, to service learning components, and have a little fun while doing it. Let you meet other new people to the area, for example, and let you connect for friendships. And just partnerships while giving back to our community. So we've got the 50+ program, which is really a lot of movers and shakers right now are calling and wanting to meet other individuals in their age group.